Now, the most known Supergirl is Kara Zor-El. However, there's also been Cir-El, Linda Danvers, Matrix, Power Girl, and etc. But yet, none are the first. Instead, that title belongs to Lucy of Borgina? Borgonia. It's a fictional country that technically doesn't have a pronunciation because it's never been adapted in anything, so I guess it's all of those. I'm just going to call it Borgonia. And despite everywhere online saying that Kara was the first, she wasn't. Nor was that really weird wish dream thing that Jimmy Olsen made. That was not Kara, but just looked like her and loved Superman with the exact same design. Then later recolored to not look like Kara, but now look like a female version of Jimmy. Anyways, over to Lucy. She would predate Kara by actually a decade. Appearing in 1949 in Superboy issue 5, while Kara wouldn't appear until 1959 in Action Comics issue 252. 10 years after Lucy. However, she is often forgotten due to the fact that, well, Lucy only ever made one appearance. And it was kind of questionable for multiple factors. Off the get-go is the character's design. She is the queen of a fictional Latin country called, what I said at the beginning of this video, Borgonia. Borgonia? Yet she's Caucasian, despite the fact that she is from Southern America. As well as everybody else in her country is depicted as being white, despite the fact that she should be Latino. Now, Lucy wants time on the spotlight, as being a part of a country with a very, very, very young queen, she is often surrounded by people just trying to take photos of her, talk to her, try to get interviews, etc. So instead, she goes to Smallville to get away from it all, just for a little while, or maybe it's permanent. It's very unclear. She just goes to Smallville. And now goes by the name Lucy Regent. She tries to be a normal girl and is an athlete and trained martial arts. In while Smallville, she seems to somewhat not really like the idea of being normal, which is definitely, in my opinion, the highlight of the entire story because it does make the character feel more human. However, that is completely just thrown by the wayside as the story progresses with her just helping Superboy defeat a group of criminals. And after that, she completely just doesn't care anymore about being normal and becomes Supergirl, deemed like that by the papers. She would embrace the idea of being Supergirl by getting a costume that I'm not entirely sure if she made or if it's like Superboy merch, but she colorized it, so she definitely added something to already existing merch, or she made it entirely by herself within just a few days. However, then we get a reveal that apparently her country's rival country's government shows up, wanting to assassinate Lucy, who knows that they want to assassinate her. And it brings in more questions of the fact that she left her country, because this other government very clearly wants to kill her, and she thought that they wouldn't have found her in Smallville, implying that they would have gone to her country and potentially have killed or hurt her people, who she straight up abandoned. She ends up working with Superboy to beat them, and it's pretty easy. And afterwards, she gives Superboy the title of being a hero in her country, as he tells her that she is a great leader. In what way? She literally just abandoned them and did not contribute anything to her country. She maybe is a good hero by fighting with Superboy and defeat the criminals and shady government, but she didn't protect her country in any way or form. Afterwards, she just never comes back and apparently doesn't go by Supergirl anymore. Apparently, because she might have off panel. This whole story and everything is, in my opinion, very, very, very random. Her being Supergirl is just kind of odd. She isn't kryptonian, nor does she have any powers. Her being a queen of her country and practically abandons them for Smallville isn't even discussed. Instead, she just does it. I know Superboy calls her a hero, however, she really isn't. She left her people to deal with said government that was going to assassinate her. Then there's a whole topic of the fact that she is whitewashed, as well as her entire Latin country. This character has never been mentioned after her initial debut. In fact, she's often jumped over when they refer to other Supergirls. As that dream Supergirl that was not a dream, but like fake. She was created by this totem that Jimmy had. It's a long story. But she's sometimes referred to as being the first Supergirl. Then later on, it would be Kara referred to the first. But regardless, Lucy at no point was ever referred to as the first in canon, not being recognized as one. And honestly, I very much can see that and understand as to why that is, because the character doesn't really come across that strongly. The only point I really thought was interesting was the fact that the character was trying to be normal, but really was struggling to do it because that wasn't who she was. I like that part, but it's completely just thrown off the wayside after a couple of panels. Her design also is a little flashy with the orange and red. The color scheme isn't as iconic as the blue and red, especially because orange and red are very similar. It just doesn't really complement each other as well. They're both hot colors. Then she got the yellow hair. It's just like she's practically just the sun. I apologize if you like the character and I bashed on her a little too much in this video. You can very much like this character because you are entitled to have different opinions than me. Because who the hell am I? I'm just a random guy on YouTube. You also may have never heard of her because a lot of people haven't. I haven't until I think a few days ago. When I was on Supergirl Wiki and I saw that this character was titled as being Supergirl at one point. Only for me to jump down this rabbit hole to learn that she was the very first. And the most forgotten. And that's it. Like always, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!